You're buying a house and you'd like to just pay out of cash. How much would the taxes be if I just pulled the money out of my IRA? I've got that math and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of The Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Here's a real life planning scenario, and you've thought this before, and if you haven't, you're going to think it at some point, and I'm gonna head it off right here with this video. You're in retirement, meaning you're comfortable with the amount of money that you've got saved up. You've got Social Security, you're withdrawing dollars from your IRA, maybe you've got a pension and everything's working, and you're debt free. The house is paid off and things are comfortable. Doesn't mean you're not worrying about your finances. Then, you're dealing with inflation and all those sort of tensions, but things are, set up the way that you sort of like them. You decide to move. You think, well, we're tired of this house. We'd like a little bit more room, or we'd like to be in a different area, and you decide to move. Well, you don't want to move twice, so you're going to buy the new house before you sell your old house. That's not advice. I'm just saying, when you're in your late 60s or 70s, the idea of selling your house, moving into an apartment, and then buying a new house that you know you can afford, and then moving there, it's less appealing, it's less attractive at that age. So you buy the new house and then want to list your old house. There's always some risk in that because it might take you a long time or longer than what you want to sell your existing house. You might need to reduce the price in order to sell it, and the market's always changing. Yes, there's risk with that. But there's another challenge too, and that is, how are you going to get the money to buy the new house if your existing house hasn't sold yet? Because you've gone a long way without a mortgage, there is an emotional driver that says, I don't want to get a mortgage. There's going to be closing costs with the mortgage, so additional fees. I don't want to make that payment. It doesn't fit in cash flow. I don't want to be in debt anymore. Had a client recently reach out with this scenario. They are looking to move. The new house is around $550,000. They think they could sell their existing house for $400,000. Okay, so that's the scenario. But in this, again, common scenario, they want to buy because they've picked out the property. It's got a little bit bigger yard. It's got nicer features to the house. So they want that house. They're going to buy that one before they're ready to list their current house. Therefore, as soon as they bring this up, hey, can we afford it? I ran the numbers. Yep, you can afford it. I said, you're going to want to get a mortgage on the new house. And then when you sell your existing house, you'll put that on the mortgage. You'll re-amortize. That's going to be something you're going to want to talk to the banker about. But you're going to have a small mortgage, and then we'll work on strategically making withdrawals from their retirement accounts to pay that thing off. And they said, great. And I wanted to say that up front because before they got too far in the process and started thinking, those emotions really took hold of, I don't want to have a mortgage, I don't want to have a mortgage. I wanted to set the expectation up front. That's likely going to be the wise thing to do. So of course, next time, a couple days later, they reach back out and say, yep, we've got the house. And here's the question. How much tax would we have to pay to just pay cash for the new house? And it wasn't even confrontational. I've had clients bring me that question where they basically have said the question, but the connotation was, you better tell me this is the right thing to do, which is not fun in this position. So they asked it casually, but they were very serious, and they were shocked by my answer. So I'm just spitballing. This is just rough numbers, okay? I'm not doing the full analysis in Excel. I'm not going to show you all of that. But they said, how much tax would we need to pay? And I said, $250,000, $300,000. And they were shocked. They were shocked. Because here's what you're thinking. How is the tax $300,000 on $550,000? How is that possible? There's no way I'm in the, what is that, 65, 70% tax bracket? I'm not in that tax bracket. There's no way that's possible. Yeah, because you're thinking logically. You have to think, you're thinking linearly, okay? So you've got to go to a higher level in your thinking. In order to get your hands on $550,000 of cash, you need to withdraw more than that from your IRA and then withhold the tax on that so that you're left with $550,000. Therefore, if you withdraw $800,000, withhold 30% in tax, which you're going to be in the higher tax bracket, but maybe that's the average tax, then maybe you're left with $550,000. Does that make sense? As soon as I shared it with them, again, they weren't really emotionally charged. Thankfully, I've had occurrences like that before, and they got it. They said, okay, yep, get it. And then it was, well, how much would we have to pay if we took the down payment out instead, and down payment of $120 or something like that. So it's more tax than what you think, because you're thinking, I need this much, and therefore that's how much I'm drawing out of my IRA. But in fact, you've got to draw out more of your IRA, and the more you draw out, the more tax there is. And so it's sort of this cycle, okay? Before you make these big decisions and before you get too emotionally attached to a decision, work with the CFP to make sure that you're doing that math and you're aware of all of your options. There's other consequences with withdrawing out of the IRA as well. I mean, number one, that's going to put you into a higher tax bracket, and that is absolutely going to trigger IRMA. So where you've got to pay more for your health and your Medicare, Part B and Part D, and 2 years from now, and you're not even aware of it. And I'm all for paying more and getting more. No, you'd be paying a lot more for the exact same Medicare coverage. Not a good deal. So, and there are other consequences too. There could be, capital gains taxes that you're not subject to right now. There could be tax on your Social Security you're not subject to right now. This could put you into a whole different tax picture and create a lot more taxes than just your ordinary income tax. So you've got to be aware of that. Second, of course, another risk is those dollars are out of the market. And it's very possible that you could miss out on some rally. Third, if part of your retirement picture right now is living on Social Security, a little pension, and some IRA withdrawals, if you now take all that money out of your IRA, can you still afford that much in withdrawals, right? And then next, lots of people think, well, I'm going to take this money out of my IRA, and then when I sell my house, I'll put the money back in. You've got 60 days to get that money back into your IRA. How confident are you that you're going to not just sell your house within 60 days, but you're actually going to sell your house and close on it and get the money all within 60 days of you taking the money out, which you're going to need to take the money out a week or maybe 2 weeks before you actually close on the purchase. And so all of a sudden, because it's a 60-day rollover, every day matters. And if you just think, well, we're going to sell the house within 60 days of buying the house, okay, that sounds okay, but you've got to add the margins on there of the money transitioning, and that could expand beyond the 60 days. In an ideal world, how would you plan for this? On your existing house, you don't want to have a mortgage, but if it's possible you're going to move, open up a home equity line of credit. Open up a home equity line of credit, and that allows you the flexibility of using the equity in your house, in your existing house, should you need to. You're not required to. So if you then decide, yeah, we're going to move, and we want to put a lump sum, down payment down, and it makes a lot of sense to draw it out of your IRA, fantastic. But if it doesn't make sense or it triggers other tax consequences, you can just use your home equity line of credit to make the down payment. No problem. So ideally, you're working with the CFP and you're doing this tax planning so that you can assess all of your options and make the best choice, but you also have more options available to get your hands on cash, i.e. a line of credit that doesn't create any tax consequences. Doing comprehensive financial planning and doing tax planning as part of this with your CFP is going to help lead you to a cheaper, likely, option, a easier option that's less stressful, and one that you have full and significant great confidence in as well. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team that can help you with these sorts of things, contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.